Okay, so John, if you were to do a zombie impression, what would you do? That sounds just like you just been on the toilet.
I haven't started yet, so...
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. Really, how could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, a podcast where we pitch prequels, sequels and spin-offs to films that don't have any. I'm Harry, and joining me as always is a John with a missing voice.
Yes. I don't know what that was. That was me attempting to deny, but then, I'm slightly under the weather this week, so I'm doing my very best zombie impersonation.
Lovely. And we're joined by our good friend, Ady Wheatley.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
You've chosen this film, Shaun of the Dead. Why did you choose it?
Because I absolutely adore the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of the best, probably the best zombie film ever made, so that's why I chose it.
I definitely agree. Did you watch it recently in preparation for this?
Yeah, I watch it regularly. So yeah, I've watched it again this week just to polish up on it.
When did you first see it? Was it at the cinema or...?
I think it was after a night out, and that is why I fell in love with it. I think it was on a Sunday, and consequently since then I always do watch it on a Sunday. It's kind of a Sunday
Every
lie-in.
Sunday?
Not every Sunday, no.
It's your religion.
I have occasional Sundays off.
Right.
But it's that kind of you when you've been out and you've got a little bit of a hangover and you just want to sit in and chill and watch films. It's that kind of film.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
When did you first see it, Harry?
I think I was first introduced to it by one of my friends from school, probably when I was too young. It built a terrifying fear of zombies for years. That was my number one fear, was zombies.
Yeah.
And it all stemmed from this film, particularly the scene where he goes into the back to like turn the lights on or something and there's all the zombies just at the door, at the window. That stuck with me. So I say an irrational fear of zombies. You should be scared of zombies anyway.
Indeed.
They're monsters. And I was scared of zombies for years after that until I started watching The Walking Dead, it was a conscious decision to, I'm going to stop being scared of zombies, I'm going to watch The Walking Dead because I've heard it's good, and that happened. And then it got as far as I had a sex dream about a zombie.
Oh dear God.
I had sex with a zombie. It was...
Wow.
It was hot. And now I don't watch The Walking Dead anymore.
Wait. I want to hear, you had sex with a zombie. In what sense was the person a zombie?
They were a zombie.
Were they trying to eat you?
No, I guess it was a dead body.
You were basically having sex with a...
Can we have no more questions on this?
I have many questions.
If I'm honest, I'm quite intrigued as well.
Was it somebody you knew in zombie form, or was it just a generic corpse?
No, I don't think it was anybody I know, but I did then make the mistake of telling somebody who then told the rest of the people in my class at school.
Oh, you were still at school at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
This just gets better.
Yeah.
Wow. That's deeply disturbing.
Yes.
So what's your sexual history with zombies?
Well, apart from some really crappy lays, but no. So we just lie there. But no, I've never had a zombie sex dream. I've never had sex with the undead.
No, we've not lived.
Clearly. Never a No, in terms of this film, though, I think I saw it in the cinema. It was like 2004. I probably did. And then I've seen it a few times since. And I was a big fan of the TV show Spaced.
Same.
Yeah. So did you see Spaced before you saw Shaun of the Dead?
No, not at all.
Okay. Because I was thinking that you were probably too young. So I loved Spaced when it was on. And then so this came out and I had to go and see it. And it's interesting to me that you found it scary. But I guess when you were a kid, you would find it scary.
Yeah.
But I've always seen this very much as a comedy film, not as a particularly scary film.
It's very warm.
Yeah, it comes from a place of real affection for the movies that it's kind of parodying.
Yes.
Like if you've seen like Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero kind of classic zombie movies. Like this is such an homage to those movies, and it's got so many in-jokes for people who are fans of the genre and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun to watch and to catch all of those little references. It combines the spaced kind of sitcom with sensibility with a zombie movie. It's just such a perfect combination of two different genres, and it's played so well. because it's got this real kind of domestic sitcom quality to it as well, and it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or ideological connection between those committing the atrocities, and perhaps more alarmingly,
There's a girl in the garden.
their behaviour. The emergency
What?
services have been overrun with calls
In the
for help.
garden, there's a girl.
The armed forces will be called in. We're not sure as to whether it is the result.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello. Oi! Hey. Oh my God. She's so drunk.
What are your favourite lines in this film? Because it's a very quotable kind of film.
It's not really a favourite line, but just my favourite sort of bit is a very Edgar Wright sort of montage. It's the bit where Simon Pegg or Shaun just pitches all these ideas for different plans.
Oh,
that
yeah.
all end
I
up
was going to say
in
that.
just
Yeah.
going to the Winchester, having a pint while this whole thing blows over. And that is just, it's the perfect bit. It's so Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
So, what's the plan? Right. We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mum's, we go in, we take care of Philip.
I'm so sorry, Philip.
Then we grab Mum, we go over to Liz's place, hole up, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
Why have we got to go to Liz's?
Because we do.
She dumped you.
I have to know if she's all right.
Why?
Because I love her.
All right, gay. I'm not staying there, though.
Why not?
If we hole up, I want to be somewhere familiar, I want to know where the exits are, and I want to be allowed to smoke.
Okay. Take Pete's car, go round Mum's, go in, deal with Philip. Sorry, Philip. Grab Mum, go to Liz's, pick her up, bring her back here, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
Perfect.
No, wait, we can't bring her back here.
Why not?
Well, it's not exactly safe, is it?
Yeah. Look at the state of it.
Where's safe? Where's familiar?
Where can I smoke?
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, sorry, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!
One of the best scenes is one of the scenes that's not funny. It's
Okay.
the scene in the car where Sean's stepdad's dying.
Yeah.
It's just, it almost switches to a completely different film for like just a few seconds. And it's a really good scene. It's really well acted and it's quite upsetting.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to the craziness again. It's brilliantly well done. I think it's great.
Well, it's got a moment of hilarity by Ed just being completely obnoxious and just like still well, what's he doing? He's doing stunt driving, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like doing handbrake turns and all that with really loud music, and all this is going on in the background, and he doesn't realise it. And then when it comes to them getting out of the car really, really quickly, he's just not. He's not
He
with
just
it.
stands there. He just
Yeah,
stands
it completely
there.
freezes
Yeah.
up. Yeah, like I got so frustrated at that point. Just like, God damn it, Ed! Come on, just stand to the situation.
Yeah.
I always loved you, Shaun. Just take care of your mum. There's a good boy.
Ed, can you pull over?
2 seconds.
Ed, please pull over.
Ed, just pull over!
Christ, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Chill out, everyone's all right.
Stop telling me to chill out! And no, for your information, everybody is not all right.
What's wrong?
Mum, it's Philip. He's gone.
Where's he gone?
Mummy's dead.
No, he isn't.
Get out! Get out! Jesus!
Considering it is, I would just define this film as a very broad comedy in many ways. There's a couple of very poignant scenes. I mean, for me, the saddest scene by far is when he has to kill his mum.
Yes.
Or when his mum is dying, anyway. And it's really, I think because Penelope Wilson, who plays the mum, really plays that character as everyone's mum. Like, it's such a classic mum performance.
Yeah.
Like, it's so well observed with how she doesn't want to make any cause any trouble. She doesn't want to make a fuss, even though she's been bitten by a zombie.
Yeah.
And she's just so warm and loving and forgiving, and there's no malice to her. She's just kind of clueless. So you really fall in love with that character. So when she does die, you're like, oh no, and it's just so there's no comedy there at all.
No, they're really well done. Those
it's a
bits
really
where it
intense
goes
moment.
emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the most realistic zombie movie because it's just how people, I think, would react.
Yeah.
Ed would still be a knob. Simon would still be being over dramatic, and his mum would still be being his mum.
Yeah.
But I feel like Simon Pegg did the perfect thing because he reacted as though he's the only person who's seen a zombie movie before.
Yeah.
He was the only one who kept us cool. So one of my drinking games is drink whenever somebody does something that they would never do if they'd ever seen a zombie movie before.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things of just like standing with a window just behind you, that there's loads of zombies there. It's going to stand here for ages and talk really loudly. Hey guys, don't make any noise! Be quiet!
Yeah.
It happened.
My favourite line, or one of them, again, it wasn't so much that it was a funny line, it was more just because it made me laugh because it was so relatable. Because as you say, it's the most realistic zombie film. Definitely, I think it's a very British film. So there was a lot of scenes when I was like, the group dynamic kind of, of going to the pub and all that kind of stuff just reminded me a lot of like our own lives and our own friendships and stuff.
Indeed.
When they get to the Winchester, just because it's what we would do, when they got to the Winchester and they're knocking on the door and it goes, what's the name of the landlord? Is it, I forget now.
Yeah.
Nigel. Let's say he's Nigel. It's like, he's like, Nigel, as in, it's Shaun and Ed. We do the quiz.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why, but that just really set me. I can imagine it was like at our local pub, like, we do the quiz, let us in.
Yeah.
John, Bernie, are you there? It's Shaun and Ed. We come in all the time.
They can hear you.
We do the quiz.
They know.
I also really liked the Lucy Davies character, who was Dylan Moran's girlfriend. She was very funny to me because she was very theatrical. And the scene where she is teaching the others how to do a zombie impersonation,
yeah,
and her description of how to do a zombie impersonation was the perfect line for me.
Oh,
it was pretend you're a drunk man who's just lost a bet, which I thought was such a perfect, like that kind of like, oh, so perfect. I loved that. It was such a good line.
Right, that's all. Shake out, get nice and limber, or not. Now, take another look at the way he moves. Remember, very limp, almost like sleepwalking. Look at the face. It's vacant, with a hint of sadness. Like a drunk who's lost a bet. Okay, let's try, shall we?
But yeah, do you want to go to some drinking games?
Yeah, sure. So I already mentioned mine. Drink whenever someone does something they would never do if they've seen a zombie movie before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will combine two here because I want to talk about Dylan Moran a bit. Because one of mine was just drink whenever Dylan Moran is the worst. Like, deliberately so and successfully. It's a great character because he is that... In a lot of horror films, there's a character that you just dislike and who's really annoying, and then you get that kind of moment of catharsis when they finally fucking die. And he is that in this film because
he's that guy, isn't he?
And I love how he kind of takes his annoying girlfriend with him.
Oh, did she?
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
You don't actually see her die.
Oh.
Well, have you seen the on the DVD special features? They had a bunch of like comic strips, and one of them was like a little segment on what happens to her, and actually they say that she lives and she climbs a tree and survives by eating his leg that she grabs, and then comes down. Yeah.
I mean, how long was she up there? Like the other guys got rescued that evening.
Yeah, that's kind of the joke, I think. Yeah, like she doesn't realise that it's over. But and I don't think that's meant to be canon. It's like a little DVD bonus feature, what if? Because it does seem unlikely she would live. But yeah, he's so obnoxious, and Dylan Moran is perfect casting for that because he does basically playing his Black Box characters, relentlessly negative, kind of know it all. And yeah, so he's throughout the film, he's like the real antagonist, like the mum when he wants to shoot him. He's got no sensitivity. He's in love with Liz and all that kind of stuff.
It doesn't have a nice part. Not one.
No,
nice
there's
part
nobody in the
nice
picture
line.
yet. So then you can see it coming because, like I say, normally you like get away from the window, but when he does get killed, and it's so gruesomely as well. It's like they know that they.
It's the most gruesome death, isn't it?
By far, he gets ripped to absolute shreds, but also in that low budget British way, which is so funny.
Lizzie, I want you to know that my feelings for you have always been essentially...
David, please, there's slightly more pressing matters at hand here.
You know the fact that Daph's is pointing a gun at my mum. I'm not the one who's being unreasonable, Pico. For Christ's sake, she's not dead. She's finished. For a hero, you're quite a hypocrite. You're the one that's gone from being a chartered accountant to Charlton Heston. I'm not a chartered accountant. Well, you look like one. Yeah. I'm a lecturer. You're a twat. Yeah.
Do you have any drinking games, Ady?
Every time someone mentions the Winchester.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the word Winchester, you get so drunk.
Yeah,
you would.
But yeah, again, I like that runner of like how he's constantly trying to branch out because the girlfriend at the beginning says she's sick of just living in going to the pub and everything.
Yeah.
And all roads lead back to the Winchester.
Which is good. It's actually kind of maybe it calls forwards to The World's End,
Mm,
where their constant thing is, look, let's just keep drinking. And like, well, this is stupid, but it's the best idea we've got.
Which is a very British mentality.
Yeah.
Sean, what I'm trying to say is, I need something a little more. More than spending every night in the Winchester.
What am I going to do? Where are we going to go?
The Winchester.
Don't be stupid. They don't do food.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a mix-up with the table, babe.
But I thought you said it was all okay.
Yeah.
You didn't book it, did you, Sean?
No.
So, what is the plan then?
The Winchester? Liz, can we just talk about this, let's go out.
What, to the Winchester?
Do you want to?
No, I don't fucking want to!
Okay! I just thought,
It's not the only place in the world, Shaun.
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
So what's the plan then?
We're going to the Winchester.
I still don't actually understand why we are going to the Winchester. Because it's a pub, it's safe, it's secure.
I know it's there.
What makes it so secure?
Because it's got big heavy doors and deadbolts. You've been to a lock-in.
Well, we should scoot. Have you got somewhere you're going?
Yeah, we're going to the Winchester.
The pub.
Yeah.
That's it then, isn't it? We're trapped. Hey, let's go to the Winchester! Whose fucking idea was that?
I had one for questionable prosthetics.
Such as,
and again, it goes back to when Bill Nye's character dies and he's got the bite on his neck, and it really just looks like someone's put a string of sausages around him. And it's the same when Dylan Moran gets killed. It's just all the gore is so deliberately silly and poorly done, but like with a kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of sense. So.
Okay, well, I've got one more game, which is drink for every cameo from Spaced.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice them all? Come on, what have we got?
Well, Jessica Stevenson, or she's now Jessica Hines, but
yeah.
Jessica Stevenson. She runs into him. She's got her alternative gang running on, which I really enjoyed, and then she saves the day at the end. So she's the next one. I felt like she should have been the love interest.
No, I feel like that had gone too much closure from Space, which everybody wanted but never got. That was true. Joke in Space, wasn't it?
I guess, yeah. I mean, maybe to rephrase that, I feel like I wish there was more of her. Although it made sense that she would just come in at the end and save the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I wasn't that big
I think
on
that
this.
they didn't put so much of her in because they wanted to be like, look, it's not Spaced.
Yeah.
Just like, it's very similar, but it's not Spaced. Because then they would have been stuck with using those two for the whole three films, which doesn't necessarily work.
Well, it might have meant that some of the Cornetto trilogy would have had more memorable female characters, which is my one complaint about Ed Wright films, is they always have really boring female characters.
That's true.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It was creating its own entity. The woman who plays Marcia is in the gang as well. Is it Marcia, the chain smoking? Yeah.
Yes.
She's in Jessica Stevenson Hines' gang.
That's right, yeah.
No lines, just cameo.
Yeah, Matt Lucas is in there too.
Was he in Spaced?
No, he wasn't in Spaced. I'm going off there now. But
he was my nomination for. There's a feature I'm going to start trialing called Wig Watch, because I love a dodgy wig in a film. It's my favourite thing, and his wig in this film was amazing.
There's one that you both missed.
Oh really?
Very, very subtle one.
Okay.
So you know that bit where they've got through all the gardens and are going to the Winchester, they're pretending to be zombies. There's a massive, massive crowd of zombies. Most of them are all wearing black, but there's one of them who's wearing very, very colourful cycling clothes and looks like he's just sort of dancing a little bit.
Okay.
And it's tyres.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Didn't notice that at all.
Very subtle.
No way.
I had to stop and rewind it multiple times, but I don't know if it's the actor, but it's definitely the guy wearing those clothes. He's quite far back.
Yeah.
And he is there.
Oh, I'm going to have to go check that out.
He's in a couple of shots, but yeah, he's there.
Brilliant.
Who is my favourite character from Space. He's the absolute best.
I understand you two friends wanted to talk to me.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could run my portfolio over to Dark Star for me.
Oh, I see. You don't call me for weeks, and all of a sudden you want a favour? That's nice, that is. Do you know the last time I seen you? You said you wished that I was your dad, and you hugged me for the entire length of the acid-tweaking funk mix of Josh Wink's Higher State of Consciousness, and now you want me to ferry around your art for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. By the way, you owe me 20 quid.
Oh, right, yeah.
Any more drinking games?
Nah, all done.
Okay. I think I had one for musical in-jokes. There's the vinyl scene, obviously the vinyl throwing scene. It's like, what can you throw, what can't?
When you were asking me earlier, I was struggling to find... That's probably one of my favourite scenes.
Yeah.
It's just so good. The music that they put on.
Yeah.
And this breakbeat comes on, and then they just start going, no, that's the first pressing, and it's just brilliant.
And
it's
I like
so good.
I really like there's one really little clever throwaway joke where they go Stone Roses, which one? Second album. Well, I liked it.
Yeah.
Because it's a famously like divisive album. Like people didn't really like it as much.
Exactly, yeah.
And little things like that. It's
Now, some of these are limited.
What was that?
I think it was Blue Monday.
Man, there was an original pressing.
For fuck's sake. Purple Rain. No. Sign of the Times.
Definitely not.
The Batman soundtrack. Throw it. Okay. Oh, Dire Straits.
Throw it.
Oh, Stone Roses. No. Second Coming. I like it.
Yeah, that's all mine. Should we get to some sequels?
Yeah, let's get you first, just in case your voice goes.
Is it getting worse? Is it?
Well, we don't know what's going to happen.
True.
You talking for a solid half hour.
Okay, so I've decided to do a direct sequel.
Right.
And I was kind of thinking, because this film really made me think of, again, like you, the TV show The Walking Dead, which is right now is the big zombie show.
Yes.
And the reason I like this film so much is that it's funny and it takes this very kind of British look at zombies. And the reason I kind of lost interest in The Walking Dead, because I stopped watching it about halfway through last season.
Mm-hmm.
A, because it got really repetitive, and B, because it's just not fun. There's nothing fun about that show.
Yeah, I agree. There's not enough payoff for all the shit that you've got to go through.
Yeah, that, and it just takes itself so very, very seriously.
Doesn't
it? If any show needs some real comic relief, it's that one. So my sequel idea, and I've not really fleshed this out particularly, but it's called Shaun of the Walking Dead. And it's just, I was like, what if the two existed in the same universe?
Okay.
So
say they don't.
Exactly, there's no reason why they couldn't. Because I was thinking, like, The Walking Dead, they do establish, I think, that it's a global thing, right?
I'm not sure.
I think they talk about it in season 1 where they go to the factory, maybe.
It's the only time they talk about.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's in Paris, it's in whatever. In this version, I'm assuming that whatever happens to cause the zombie apocalypse is a global thing.
Okay.
So I'm thinking these events happen parallel to each other. So just as Rick Grimes is doing his thing in America, the events of Shaun of the Dead are happening in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
To make this make sense, this sequel, I think, has to do a little bit of retconning, and opening with the last scene of Shaun of the Dead, where the zombie apocalypse ends, and he's back with his girlfriend, and Ed's living harmlessly in the shed.
Mm-hmm.
So in this sequel, we figure out that scene is actually a fantasy sequence.
Okay.
It's a dream, because it did feel a bit like a wish fulfillment. It's like happy ending. So actually, the real film ends when Jessica Hines' character comes and rescues him and Liz, and that's with the army basically. And so they have survived. Ed is very much dead, unfortunately. And I would love to bring Nick Frost back, but it's a sequel. I can't do it. He's a zombie. So yeah, so I guess the opening scene is going to establish that they're happening parallel to each other, and the zombie apocalypse is still very much ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So Liz and Shaun have now joined Jessica Hines' crew.
Yes.
And
wait, sorry, are you assuming that Jessica Hines' crew survived?
I'm guessing they've taken some casualties.
Because I was assuming from the end of the film, the look that she gave Shaun was that she was the only survivor.
Okay.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Well, I've not given much thought to what any of the other characters could do. We didn't really talk about that scene very much, did we? But I like that scene because it brings back all the comic pairings, doesn't it? It's a little fun, a little in-joke for British viewers, because it's got everyone meets their equivalent. So you've got obviously Simon Pegg meets Jessica Hines, they're the couple from Spaced. And then you've got Lucy Davies and Martin Freeman crossover.
Are they from anything?
Yeah, from The Office.
Ah, right.
I've
not watched The Office.
The British Office, they're the couple.
Mm-hmm.
Reece Shearsmith and Matt Lucas are in her team. I forget who they are. Oh, Marsha's there as well from Space.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Moran and Tamsin Greig from Black Books. I think
yes.
Too, yeah. So I'm assuming they're all playing versions of themselves, of those characters. Like, because Dylan Moran wasn't playing the guy from Black Books, but he was. He was playing the Dylan Moran type.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't really give any thought to who would survive. Like, Tamsin Greig's pretty funny. Maybe she survived as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Whoever's left anyway, they've joined that crew essentially.
Okay.
And then I was thinking, well, the other thing is, how are we now going to give them a reason to meet with the American Walking Dead people?
Mm-hmm.
It's different continents, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was kind of thinking, maybe they just need to get out of London, because London's obviously super, super overrun with zombies, and there's no way they can hold out in central London against like 9 million zombies.
Yeah.
But getting out of London from central London isn't feasible, because, as I say, it's a very densely populated area. So it's actually the only feasible thing they can do is, it's actually easier to steal a plane and charter a jet out of the country than it is to get out of London.
Right, wow.
So, but they fight their way to Heathrow, and I think there's some inherent comedy there if none of them can actually fly a plane. Because then I was thinking, well, why not just fly to Europe?
I'm also just loving your concept of geography.
What do you mean?
Heathrow is in central London.
Oh, I don't know. It's all one place to me. Gatwick, what's near? I thought Gatwick's further out, isn't it?
There are no major airports in, I think, any central city in the world.
Oh, is that a deliberate thing?
Yeah, airports are always out of the city because they're quite big.
Okay, but
there is a central London airport. It's very small though.
Okay.
It'd be like private little planes.
Well, maybe they go to that.
There we go.
Or maybe it's easier to fight their way along the tube lines to get to...
Along the tubes, yes.
You can get the tube to Heathrow, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Than it is to get out of London through all the zones of London. You know what I mean? With 9 million plus zombie people.
Okay, so are they commandeering a tube train?
Maybe, or they're just walking along the tube. Who knows? Either could work. I don't know. What's
sure. I reckon they commandeer it.
Yeah. I like the idea of them just going down the tubes, and maybe there's some comedy stuff's going to happen there. I don't know. Maybe they'll fight some. What would be dangerous in the tubes?
Zombie rats.
Zombie rats. Yeah, maybe there's zombie rats to fight. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the idea is that they eventually get to the airport and fly. And I don't think any of them know how to fly a plane. So I think there's inherent comedy there. And somehow rather than hop over to Paris or whatever, which wouldn't be any safer, but whatever. Somehow they end up over the Atlantic Ocean. Like, oh shit, we're just going to have to continue this route now, and they end up making an emergency landing in. Is it Georgia? Not the country, the states, the US states.
Yeah, I think that's where they are in the Walking Dead.
I feel like the geography in The Walking Dead is
Atlanta, Georgia.
It's Atlanta, isn't it? So
maybe they don't land. Maybe they can't land, so they'll jump out with parachutes.
That could work too. Yeah.
So that's why they end up in just a random place in the country.
Yeah, maybe they start running out of fuel too soon. It's like shit, we can't land. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea is that they run into Rick Grimes and go, maybe. I'm guessing not much has happened since I last watched The Walking Dead. Are they still in Alexandria?
I have no idea. As far as I know, I think
it's got quite good. I'd almost given up with Walking Dead, but it's got quite good. Okay. There's a new baddie in it called Negan.
I know. I've seen the Negan stuff.
Yeah, Negan's fantastic. But yeah, there's a new one due soon. Okay. I think.
What, a new baddie or a
new season?
Oh, I thought it already started.
All out war between the two.
Oh, okay.
I hope it has done.
Yeah. Or maybe they end up in Negan's camp then. Maybe they end up accidentally on the side of the bad guys. Maybe they run into Rick Grimes and realise they've picked the wrong side. And then there's some kind of, Simon Pegg is the Rick Grimes figure in this story. He's become like the de facto lead of the group.
Yes.
So he has to then negotiate with Rick Grimes and try to... I like the idea of the crossover between very different sensibilities, just trying to do the best for their own teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's as far as I've got of it. It's not the most fleshed out idea I've ever had, but I'm just kind of...
It could be quite funny though, them just being British.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up against them being American.
Yeah.
Could be quite funny on its own.
I like the idea of them rubbing against this very pompous kind of... The Walking Dead, as I say, takes itself so super seriously. I feel like a Simon Pegg character would kind of undercut a lot of that. It'd be really funny. And, because there's no kids involved as well, so there's no equivalent to Call, which would be,
yeah.
Good. I don't know who Simon Pegg's Call would be. It would be Ed if he'd survived, but certainly not.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite funny, especially to see Simon Pegg up against Negan. Yeah. They'll do these long, intense speeches, and then Simon Pegg's just like, what the fuck?
Oh, actually,
yeah.
Another joke I just thought of that could be funny, because obviously the Negan thing is he has Lucille, doesn't he? He has the bat that has the things. And obviously there's a whole running thing in Shaun of the Dead where Shaun is constantly battering zombies with this cricket bat that's clearly made of styrofoam, because it's... Yeah. So maybe there's a remake of the scene where the characters in Walking Dead get quote-unquote Negan'd when...
I thought I said Lucille'd.
Lucille'd, so yeah, where there's a famous horrific scene in The Walking Dead that they built up to for ages where a major character is bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat full of rusty nails, and it's horrific. So maybe there's some kind of build-up to a scene where Simon Pegg has to commit an execution on a character, maybe even a beloved Walking Dead character. And then it's maybe Negan forces him to do it, or maybe there's a misunderstanding and he actually becomes Negan. Maybe
there we go.
Maybe there's a misunderstanding and miscommunication, so actually Simon Pegg becomes the Negan figure to Rick Grimes, and he sets up this execution scene and it's completely redone.
Yeah.
A character gets chosen, it's just the whole, catch a tiger by the toe if he's good. Imagine Simon Pegg doing that.
Duck, goose!
Yeah, exactly.
Eeny. Meeny. Miny. Mo. Catch. The tiger. By his toe. If he hollers, let him go.
So it gets to that point, it's all super dramatic, and the character realises they're going to die, and then Simon Pegg just whacks and there's just no impact. It's like, it doesn't even hurt. It's just like, it's just constant battering, and there's just nothing.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
good. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I've kind of come up with that on the fly, but yeah, that's my idea. They go to America and he becomes Negan to The Walking Dead, and it's just the rest of The Walking Dead follows Rick Grimes and his crew versus this bunch of inept British people who don't really know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Nice.
that is Shaun of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, good one. Good one.
Cool. Any more questions? Or?
Yeah. That's
No, we like that. It's good.
Ady?
Okay. I've got two ideas. I've got a prequel and a sequel.
Okay. Is it part of a trilogy, or are they two separate ideas?
Well, actually, the more I thought about it, the more I thought they could be part of a trilogy.
Okay, so should we start with the prequel then? Or?
Yeah, okay. Let's start with the prequel. Okay, Shaun of the Dead, Rehearsal, it's called.
Okay.
So all the characters from the original film are still in it.
Okay.
And it goes back to when they're in their 20s and they're all going out raving.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the gang have been raving, doing everything that's involved with raving, staying awake, playing computer games. And they begin to think that the zombie apocalypse has already started.
Okay. Because they're on drugs?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're wasted, they have lack of sleep. So you have a lot of cutscenes between them, you know, early hours of the morning playing computer games, then back to the club, and then Ed starts to become convinced that the zombie apocalypse has started, and pretty much that's as far as I got with it.
So is this set in the early 90s? Are we talking this is when they're young?
It's set in the late 90s, so
Right.
after they've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
So they've sort of burnt themselves out a little bit.
So in the film Shaun of the Dead, I think Simon Pegg says he's 29. Well, Shaun's 29. Simon Pegg was actually about 35 at the time, which I thought was quite funny. So yeah, so you're saying maybe it's like 25ish then, 26? Like...
Yeah, so it's set just a few years before Shaun of the Dead set.
Cool. Any sequel that we do in this, or prequel, we have to think about whoever's playing them. It's as if it's made in 2017. So are we going to have Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who are now like in their 40s, playing themselves as 20-year-olds?
That, I admit, would be tricky.
But hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be done with
Uh-huh.
makeup and CGI or whatever. It could be done. And I just think it'd be quite funny going back, and you would get all the same characters. Even Pete.
Yeah.
Pete back when he was fun.
Yeah.
So Pete was like the head of the gang.
Yeah.
He was like the fun guy who went and got drugs for everyone.
Yeah.
So you'd have things like that. But then also a bit of a fear and loathing element to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it all gets a bit weird and a bit sinister.
Because they're all on a massive drug bend.
Yeah. But then it all ties into this. You know, they think the zombie apocalypse is starting because they're playing too many computer games.
I like that a lot. I mean, it's great. I mean, you could have a really good soundtrack, which is obviously a big thing.
Exactly.
Like mid-90s trance and dance. And...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the scenes as well. You could do club scenes and where they're going to warehouse raves and you know, them imagining zombies and stuff. I think it just opened it up for a lot of gags.
I think that'd be really funny. Also, because we're talking about like the actors going back, have you ever heard of it? There's an American TV show called Wet Hot American Summer. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So it's a TV show that came out about 2000ish. It was a film originally, actually. It came out around 2000. It was like a cult film, and it starred a bunch of people who went on, like, it's like Amy Poehler is in it from Parks and Recreation, Paul Rudd is in it, and there's all these famous American comic actors who went on to make shows like Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, anything you can think of.
Yeah.
They made this little thing when they were all young. It was a spoof of films like Sleepaway Camp and Porky's and, you know, all those like Camp America kind of things, those kind of teen frat party things. Yeah. So basically, they made this film and they made it, and it's even then they were like, the joke was they were all in their like late 20s and they were playing teenagers because they're playing like teen camp counselors, like horny teens and like a Camp America thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that film comes out. It's like a big cult classic. Years later, 15, 20 years pass. The actors all become big stars, or a lot of them do. And a couple of years ago, they made a prequel to Wet Hot American Summer on Netflix, a TV series. There was a prequel to the film. Right. So they're all playing. They're supposed to be 3 years younger, but they're all about 15 years older. And it's so hilariously funny. Like, some of them have like put on a lot of weight, and so, but they're still wearing the same clothes, and it is so funny. It's really,
that sounds
really
brilliant.
It's really, really cool.
And also sounds like that idea would work.
That's what I mean. I like that for this same reason. You've got Simon Pegg and Nick Frost like playing themselves, even though it's like 15 years after Shaun of the Dead, but playing themselves as if they were 25 years younger. But obviously, it wouldn't be convincing, but that would inherently be hilarious.
Yeah.
And especially because it's a big ensemble thing. You know, you've got Dylan Moran and Tasman Grieg and Jessica Hines, all these other British people. I can totally see that. That'd
Yeah.
really work. That'd be
I
really
think it'd be great. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'm sold. I like that one. It's really good. So then that happens. Then there's the film. Then what's your?
So we've got that. Then we've got Shaun of the Dead, and then we would have the sequel.
Okay.
The title is The Quest for a Cure for Ed.
Okay.
So basically, whereas yours was Ed dies and all that sort of thing, I've literally taken it at the end as a starting point.
Okay, so the zombie apocalypse is over, peace is restored, and Ed is a zombie, but he's being kept in the basement with Shaun.
Well, almost.
Okay.
Ed is still kept in the basement with Shaun, but the zombie apocalypse is not. It's not over.
Oh, okay.
We're led to believe it is. So, like, within the city limits of London, so it's kind of similar to yours in a way.
Okay.
We meet Shaun's uncle, Uncle Chadwick.
Okay.
Who I'd like to be played by Jim Broadbent.
Great, good casting.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a lifelong stoner and conspiracy theorist. So Shaun goes to see him, and he convinces him that he knows where the source of the outbreak come from, and that they should go on a quest to try and find a cure. So that's how it starts. So then there's Shaun, then there's Liz, and now there's Uncle Chadwick, who decides to come with them because he knows ways, quote unquote, to get out of the city. And they use the tube. They use the tunnels from London to get out of the city. And they find out that once they're out of the city that things are not what they've been told. They find, what's she called now? The character who we were talking about who dies at the end.
Lucy Davies' character?
Lucy Davies'
I think she's
character,
called Diane?
Nice.
Diane, yeah.
Okay.
Diane has survived, and she's a leader of a group of zombie warriors.
Okay.
They
As
have-
in zombies who are warriors, or fight anti-zombie zombie warriors?
Yeah, so they're like a post-apocalyptic village.
Okay.
And they fight off zombies and try to survive
Okay.
outside the city.
Cool.
And they have improv evenings, which she runs, obviously.
Oh, great, of course,
So during the course of this, Uncle Chadwick, we'll call him Uncle Chadwick, and he's Shaun's dad's brother. We find out that Shaun's dad used to work for the government, and they find out that the cause of the outbreak was testing for a new type of game.
Okay.
So it links back into computer games again.
Right.
Because I thought that was quite... They used that a lot in the original film. With shooting the zombies and then...
Top left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but then they find out that actually is where it comes from. So it's a game that uses an implant, but it's not a zombie game. So when they find out the game, it's one of those cute games. So whenever the game is referenced to, everyone goes, "Oh, you know, like a pet sort of game."
Oh, I see. Okay.
But it's implanted in your brain, and that's where the outbreak starts from.
Okay.
Which leads into a corporate villain, which is played by Timothy Dalton.
Oh, good casting.
Yeah, and he's got two henchmen.
So he runs the computer game company that sells this game. Okay.
Yeah, so they're basically what the reason that they did it was an attempt to take over the world, and it backfired.
Okay.
So they're now held up in this facility in a massive industrial wasteland, trying to figure out a way that they can still run the world and fix the problem.
Right.
He's got two henchmen, Paddy Considine and Rory McCann.
This is really good casting.
Both of us, and there's two henchmen.
Of course, because Rory McCann plays the Hound as well in.
That's right.
Game
Yeah,
of
that
Thrones,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Paddy Considine is just generally terrifying. So yeah, good.
Yeah. So it ends up in a massive battle, and they manage to shut down this big thing that's controlling the game and causing the outbreak. Everyone comes back to life, but then they die.
Okay.
That's pretty legit.
So everyone dies.
Yeah. So you get Ed back for a minute.
Okay.
And then he dies. That's pretty much the end of the film.
Does Shaun die? Does Liz die?
No, Shaun and Liz are still there.
Okay, so they survive, and so good does triumph over evil. They do win, do you reckon? Or?
Yeah, so all the zombies do end up dying. Like vampires. They almost come back to life for a bit, and then they die. So they do that sort of thing. But it's by shutting down this big computer brain that does it.
So are we going to get like an emotional moment for a second where like Ed is himself again and he gets to say goodbye to Shaun and then he dies?
Yeah, he does the fart joke.
Oh, great.
He does the fart joke.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great way
really
to end
sad,
it.
yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets one last fart.
Yeah.
Ed, I'm sorry. What for? Because, you know, I was shouting at you and that earlier on. It's all right. I'm sorry, too. It's okay. I I'm sorry, Shaun.
Oh, God. That's not funny.
Stop doing them when you stop laughing.
I'm not laughing.
Oh, but that fart though, he's been years as a corpse.
God, yeah.
Oh,
Can you
imagine?
man.
Yeah, that'd be rancid. Well, yeah, I like that. That's really good. I like the idea that it's not a rehash. It's like there's still zombies, but it's kind of a different story. I think if Shaun of the Dead did have a sequel, I can imagine that they would do that. They'd like ramp it up and find another kind of plot line. So
Yeah, and I think Shaun would get to be Shaun like he was in the first film, and I think there's lots of scope for tying into the original film without redoing it.
Yeah.
So opening it up for the same sort of gags.
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions?
No.
Your turn.
Great. Okay, so Shaun and Liz have both lost their jobs. They've been replaced by zombies because don't know what Liz was doing, but Shaun was doing a pretty mindless job.
Yeah.
They found a zombie who could do it, obviously for free. Zombies are slaves. That's the world we live in. So to make some money, they've both turned to a life of crime, and they've decided that their crime of choice is to rob drug dealers.
Okay.
So what they do is they ambush drug dealing stuff. They happen in drug dens and stuff, and steal all the drugs. Threaten people with Ed. They've made Ed look as scary as possible, and say that, well, the place is surrounded by zombies, so you can't get anywhere. Here's one to show you that it's true. And then they steal the drugs, go and sell them to a guy called Dave. Who I
Had to be Dave, didn't
Always
it?
a Dave. Always
Had to be Dave.
Dodgy Dave, who wanted Mark Heap to play.
Oh, good. Give him a role at last.
Brian from Space. Because he wasn't in this one, but he was in The World's End.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Ed was a drug dealer in the first film, like a minor drug dealer, so it kind of has...
Oh, was it? Oh, great.
Yeah.
So they've got a history. So I reckon that we'd get that as a big summary in some kind of Edgar Wright montage at the start. I was thinking to the soundtrack of From 9 Till 5.
Yeah? The Dolly Parton song, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there another one?
Sheena Easton.
Don't know
My
who that is.
baby works from... You're too young, you won't know. My baby works from 9 to 5. And why am I singing so much in this episode? Do you remember 9 to 5 by Sheena Easton?
I don't know. It's
God.
news to me, that one.
Okay, well, your loss. Great song. But no, okay, Dolly Parton, sure.
Great.
We should try and get another song in before the end.
I've not got any planned. See what you guys can come up with as it happens. So one day they go to a drug den in North London. They walk in, find 4 people there, and a shit ton of drugs. So gold mine, absolute gold mine. These 4 people are played by Noel Fielding, Julian Barrett, David Mitchell, and Robert Webb.
Yeah, good.
Really good.
Two British comedy pairings.
Yeah. Mighty Boosh and Peep Show.
Yeah, so Shaun starts threatening them with Ed, which is their standard setup for this, and saying, yeah, you better hand over all your drugs. The place is surrounded. We've got zombies everywhere. Here's one now. He's going to get you if you don't do it. Right now. Come on. Liz is outside making zombie noises.
Okay, let's try, shall we? Liz. Nice. Good vocal work.
Great.
So Noel and Julian, I'm just going to use their acting names at this point. Maybe they're even playing themselves. Who knows? Noel and Julian start loading the drugs into their car outside, while Mitchell and Webb sat inside are being guided by Ed, because apparently they've taken too many drugs and they're just a little bit out of it. So I don't know drugs. Don't know what happens. Forgive me if I make any big mistakes.
So naive.
So after the first trip to the car, not drug trip. After the first trip to the car, they come back in and see that Ed has actually killed and is now eating Mark Webb.
Okay.
So they all start panicking, just like, this is not okay. This is a thing that is going to draw a lot of attention, and then the police are going to come and all sorts. So Shaun is massively stressing out, as I feel only Simon Pegg can do. In the meantime, Noel Fielding takes the chance to go into the back room and gets out a gun.
Okay.
Comes and says, we have to leave now. I've called the police. They're going to come here and they're going to see this, so we've all got to go. And you're going to drive us away until this all blows over, and bring your pet for insurance. So all the survivors pile into the car. So we've got Shaun, Liz, Ed, Noel Fielding, Julian Barrett, and David Mitchell.
How's David Mitchell coping with having lost Mark Webb?
Extremely pathetic.
Not coping well.
No, he's not doing well at all. I feel like he can do pathetic quite well.
I feel like he might be our Dylan Moran for this one.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a good moan in it as well, probably.
Yeah.
He has a good moan, that guy. So, yeah, they all piled in and they drive all day to a small town in the north of England Can either of you two think of a good town this might be good to set it in?
Cumbria.
That's not that's a county.
That's
isn't
a
it?
county. Come on.
Are we thinking of somewhere like really oldie worldy, like Holmfirth or something, or Haworth, or
Could be.
yeah? Or are you thinking more like crap towns like Keighley or
Keighley.
yeah?
Ooh,
Keighley's up there. Pardon?
Dewsbury.
Dewsbury. Now we're talking.
Right.
Dewsbury's
Dewsbury.
it. Sold. So they all drive for the day and get to Dewsbury.
Were the aiming to get to Dewsbury, or was it just like keep driving until we run out of road and Dewsbury's where the road ends?
Yeah, very much. Just keep driving for a long time, and yeah. So they get there, and they want to go somewhere where they're not going to be found, somewhere a bit subtle and out of the way, and so they go to a strip club. Find a strip club in Dewsbury. Have we got a name for a strip club in Dewsbury?
I mean, I've been to many over the years, but
Ady, I feel like you're the guy.
Petals.
Petals. That's good.
Petals in Dewsbury.
There's a real high quality of women there.
Yeah. And so they go in, and they first thing they do is, well, Shaun says that he's hungry, so they all go to the bar and they order some food. Liz asks what Shaun wants.
Okay, you've already inadvertently shown your naivete in terms of drugs and everything. Have you ever been to a strip club that served food at the bar?
Maybe there was that one that we went to. Did they serve food there?
I don't recall ordering any food.
I've brought you into this. Now everyone knows. We've been to a strip club.
I don't care.
So well done.
I don't know shame.
I've got some shame. So the first thing to do there is order some food. Shaun orders a Solero.
Okay. Oh, so we're paying tribute to the Cornetto trilogy by having an ice cream. Great.
I've never been to a strip bar.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow.
Which is weird.
I like how you feel you needed to say that.
I
the company you're in.
Well,
it would have been.
When this recording is over, it actually is a special treat. We do this for all of our guests.
Yeah, this evening.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
So they hang out in a strip club for, well, they want to hang out as long as they can. They want to try and not get caught. A weird thing happens when the sun goes down and dusk approaches.
Wait, they went to a strip club in the daytime?
Maybe they arrived at, I don't know, 5 p.m. or something.
Oh, I bet that wasn't like the A team. Daytime strippers.
Well, no, it was not the A team, because as soon as the sun went down, dusk approached, all the strippers turned into vampires.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've seen From Dusk Until Dawn.
No, well, maybe like on TV when I was like a kid.
Well, it's a vampire movie.
Okay.
With George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
We should watch that.
Okay.
Add that to the list.
Has it got a sequel?
Okay. Don't know.
No, it hasn't. And yes, you should watch that. It's great.
Well, we could do it anytime. If you want to really plan ahead, maybe next Halloween we'll have a vampire trilogy rather than a witches trilogy.
Probably a good idea.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Okay, so from here, the rest of the movie is largely a vampire hunting movie.
Okay.
Where it turns out that not just the strip club, but in fact the whole of Dewsbury is being overrun by vampires. And so they have to fight their way out.
Right, okay.
Which
out of Dewsbury.
They have to fight their way out of Dewsbury.
That's not a vampire movie, that's just a Thursday night.
So they've got to go through the Mecca Bingo.
Oh, God.
Through one of the probably the worst shopping centres in the world.
Yeah.
And get to the station, and they've got to wait half an hour because the train's delayed. And get to Huddersfield. In the meantime, all the comedians that are brought in, they all get killed off one by one.
Okay.
/ turned into vampires.
Okay.
I feel like Noel Fielding would do an amazing vampire if he's not done already.
Yeah, but I feel like it's basically his life.
Noel Fielding.
Yeah. I feel like he already is a vampire.
Yeah. Just doing it with like a little smirk on his face.
Yeah.
I like the idea of what's his face, David Mitchell as a vampire.
Yeah. I think that'd be quite good. That'd be quite fun as well. Yeah, so they have that, and well, there is a scene at some point where you feel like they're all about to die.
Mm-hmm.
So we've still got Shaun, Liz, and Ed there as well as this trained zombie that they've got. They all hide behind Ed because they think that Ed's immune to everything, but he's not. Turns out one of the zombies bites him, and
one of the vampires bites him.
Yeah, sorry, one of the vampires bites him, and luckily at that point, that's when the sun comes up. They happen to be outside at this point, and so the vampires they run away.
Okay.
So then Shaun, Ed, and Liz they all jump on the next train to Huddersfield.
I love how they're catching trains.
That's all I think of when I think of Dewsbury. I got passed through it.
Well, I can imagine, like, because there's lots of like jump cuts and kind of visual comedy in Shaun of the Dead. I imagine like all the action scenes punctuated by scenes where the characters are just like on the train, just like not making eye contact, just waiting.
Yeah, background elevator music playing.
Yeah. Annoyingly, it's the Transpennine train, so they don't get a seat.
This is very niche, right, for our listeners. This will play really well in Wisconsin. This.
And after a while, when the sun comes up, they find that Ed's really struggling, that his skin is burning a little bit.
Oh dear.
And suddenly it clocks with them that, well, he must have turned into a vampire as well.
A vampire zombie?
So he's now a vampire zombie.
Oh, wow.
So what they do now is as soon as they get to Huddersfield, well, it's Simon Pegg. What's he going to do? He's going to go to the pub. So they go to the station pub.
Okay.
And they just sit there and they start planning things out, thinking, right, well, he's a vampire zombie now. We could steal a lot of drugs for this. That's how the film closes.
Okay. So it's like, how do we now use a vampire zombie? Maybe there's like a montage at the end where they...
Maybe you could do like a planning scene.
Yeah.
Like how he does a planning scene in the original Shaun of the Dead, and he does those, and he runs through various ideas of how they can make various amounts of money.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, obviously Shaun of the Dead is a very loving tribute to classic zombies. It's got all the zombie tropes. So is this going to have all the vampire tropes? Is there going to be like stakes through the heart? Is there going to be crucifixes? And...
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know where that would go. Where that would come in. There doesn't have to be.
Well, when they're fighting off the vampire strippers, for example.
Of course, yeah. So,
Are they going to stake them through the heart? Like,
yes.
Cool.
Yeah. There has to be some kind of Christopher Lee kind of character, maybe the owner of the strip club.
Oh yeah. Well, Christopher Lee is in fact dead now. So.
Yeah. So sorry, it's a type character, but somebody who plays a zombie such as he did.
Yeah.
Like a kind of strip club compare.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a suit and a
Jim Broadbent.
Jim Broadbent.
Could he do it?
Yeah, you could do that. You could bring him in for that, definitely.
There we go.
You can never go wrong with Ian McKellen for these things.
Yeah.
I like the idea of maybe the strippers turn into vampires maybe mid-private dance. That'd be good.
Yeah, that would be good, actually.
Also, now I'm thinking of the visual of a vampire Dewsbury vampire stripper, which is a very specific type of stripper, I can imagine already. Like, a Dewsbury stripper in itself, I think, is a very specific type of stripper. A Dewsbury vampire stripper giving an erotic dance to a zombie Nick Frost.
Yes.
I like that image.
Yeah.
I like that image a lot. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I like it too.
Lovely. Just to clarify, I didn't pick a strip club from my own mind. In Dawn of the Dead, it was a strip club.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It wasn't just your favourite Dewsbury strip club?
No.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we take Ady down for a good old night at the Dewsbury Petal, shall we?
Can't wait.
Yeah. Shall we get to some listener?
Yeah, we better have.
Okay, cool. So this was obviously a very popular film with our listeners, so we had a few really good ideas. So first of all, Blokebusters at Blokebusters. Their idea they've given us a title this week. So,
oh, finally!
Yeah. So
long enough.
The working title of this one is Shaun of the Dead 2: Drop Dead Ed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So Shaun and Liz have moved on and started a family, and the world has come to terms with everything. So I guess maybe this is set in 2017, so maybe it's 10 years later or something. Who knows?
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, they've started a family and moved on, and zombie Ed, after all these years, is starting to decay so much that Shaun has been forced to kind of put him out of his misery. However, the moment he does actually do this, I guess there's an emotional scene where horribly rotting zombie Ed, Shaun is just forced to either shoot him or something. As soon as he does this, Ed stands up and he's fully healed and human again. And Shaun's overjoyed and he calls to Liz to have her come and see. But then Ed tells Shaun, actually, nobody else can see him, only Shaun can. And then Shaun has this midlife crisis where he has all these nostalgic feelings now brought on by the return of Ed, who acts like everything that's happened since the apocalypse hasn't really occurred. It's like right back to 2004 when they were just best mates in this like codependent little flat share situation.
Yeah.
So it causes Shaun to kind of regress a little bit, because he misses those days. He starts to lose people from his life. Like Liz is trying to break him out of this funk that he's in, and Ed sees how unhappy his resurrection has made Shaun, and he tries to figure out how to leave for good. It transpires that actually he was the first to return, but actually everyone else who was killed in the zombie apocalypse is starting to come back too, to be resurrected. So the whole world starts seeing people in the way that Shaun can see Ed. Everyone begins to see people that they care about who's died, but only they can see them, I guess, is the idea. However, over time, Ed starts to fade away, and Shaun and Ed realise that the returned are only back for a short period of time. So they get to have an emotional final goodbye, sharing of one last cornetto, and then Shaun breaks free from his midlife crisis and starts anew. And then the last shot is that Liz, I guess Liz has got her own stuff going on in all of this.
Mhm.
And the last shot we see that actually David, the Dylan Moran character, appears before Liz, resurrected. And then so Liz goes, oh, and then it cuts to black. So I guess they've got their own unresolved issues to work through, because in the original film, of course, he was in love with Liz.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
like a side plot. So yeah, that's good. I like that. I like the whole drop dead Fred kind of thing there.
Yeah, that's
Very
good.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal Horror Cast at HMH Cast. Their idea is Rise of the Planet of the Eds. In this version, I guess it's a sequel to, taken to a government lab because of his infected status, Ed and several other victims of the zombie contagion become subject to a series of tests and experiments intended to create a vaccine for the zombie virus, which I guess is ongoing.
Yeah.
So he's prodded and poked with and injected with a variety of chemicals, but his pathological need to feed kind of eventually abates, and his intelligence starts to come back. This is Ed still. So he becomes more intelligent very quickly. I guess this is like Planet of the Apes, so it's not just he goes back to being human Ed, he becomes superhuman Ed, he becomes like super intelligent
okay.
Ed.
Yeah.
Because Ed obviously was a bit thick in the original.
Yeah.
So I don't think Nick Frost ever played like a genius, so this could be really interesting. Oh, this is good because in the original there's that running joke. He does a really good orangutan impression. There's layers to this. I really think this is a layered sequel. I like it.
Yeah.
So he's seeing these kind of drugged up, tested upon zombies, much like the apes in Planet of the Apes, start to see the human race as their oppressors. So because they're still zombies, I guess. So they form an alliance. The zombies overthrow the regime that's kept them in shackles, and hearing that his best mate has escaped captivity, Shaun tracks Ed down so they can have a celebratory spliff and a pint down the Winchester. He wants to reunite. And Ed recognises his old friend, gives him a hug, but then he grunts the word no, and then he shambles off into the sunset. So I guess it's a Planet of the Apes kind of thing. Only after he's gone, Shaun realises that Ed has nicked all the pot from his pockets. So he falls to his knees, and the last line of the film is Shaun and Simon Pegg shouting, "You damn dirty Ed!" That was it. There we go.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
I like
loyal.
that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Think Outside the Box Set, TOTBS podcast. Their pitch is a crossover movie called Bring It On of the Dead.
Okay.
And this is a crossover between Shaun of the Dead and the Kirsten Dunst Elijah Dushku cheerleader movie Bring It On. So in this movie, Kirsten Dunst and Elijah Wood are fighting zombies but with dance moves. And he says, to be honest, the only reason I thought of this is so I could use the phrase Rom-Zom-Com. Because this film is famously is described as a rom-zom-com.
Yeah.
This is a rom-pom-pom zom-com. So it's a romantic zombie comedy with pom-poms. We Watch Anything. Theirs is called The Incredible Journey. Ed being capitalised.
Got it, yeah.
So a home scientist living near Shaun, using the new science that the zombie outbreak has spawned, learns how to miniaturise people. So she shrinks Shaun, Liz, Diane, and new friend Steve, played by Paddy Considine. She shrinks them and injects them into Ed's zombie body. And then they have to fight the virus inside their friend, sometimes hand-to-hand combat. So maybe
I like this one.
So yeah, maybe the pathogens inside his body are represented by like zombies inside his body or something. I don't know. Eventually returning him to humanity. Although once Ed has been cured, he still occasionally pretends to be a zombie just to kind of piss them off. Because he's still Ed, he's still obnoxious.
He would, yeah.
Very, very good. And last but not least, Oh No Lit Class, at Oh No Lit Class Pod. Their idea is just an unnecessary American adaptation of this movie. So it's similar to the American version of Let the Right One In, and pretty much every successful horror movie of all time gets a crappy American remake. So in this one, Zac Efron is Shaun.
Okay.
Yeah. Terrible, but I think that's the point. Donald Glover is Ed, which...
Oh, yeah.
He's not really an Ed type, but again, I guess as the point of the... I guess American remakes always go wrong, make everyone look too sexy and too like Hollywood, so I guess that's the idea. Kate Mara from House of Cards Season 1, playing Liz. Bryan Cranston as Philip, the...
oh yeah, that works.
That works really well. Philip was the what's-his-face character, wasn't he? Bill Nighy's character.
Yeah.
Shaun's mum is played by Robin Wright, so I guess we've got a little bit of a House of Cards reunion. No Kevin Spacey for obvious reasons. It's a baseball bat instead of a cricket bat, and instead of the Winchester, they're trying to get to a Buffalo Wild Wings. So that's that.
Sure, I like it.
I think that'll be terrible, but I think that's the whole point. So,
yeah.
Terrible but funny.
Exactly. So thanks for those guys. It's very, very good. If you have any ideas for sequels you'd like to see to Shaun of the Dead, or prequels, or remakes, let us know. We are Beyond the Box Set. You can find us at beyondtheboxset.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, Tumblr, all good social media. Just search for Beyond the Box Set. If you enjoy the show, hit subscribe to get a new episode every Friday morning. It really helps us out. And if you really enjoy our show, leave us a review. It helps us to find new listeners, and we really appreciate it. It's a nice little ego boost. The show's available on iTunes, Stitcher, Acast, Podbean, Google Play, all the good podcasting platforms. So again, either go to our website, beyondtheboxset.com, or just search Beyond the Box Set on your chosen podcasting network. I don't know why I said so much this week when it was so much harder than usual to speak.
Yeah, I just realised that.
And next week, Harry, it's your idea. It's your turn. Do you have an idea?
Finally.
Okay.
I haven't picked one for months.
I know, we've had too many guests, so what have you got for us?
Bloody guests. Okay, so as one of the films that we did over our Halloween, it was your pick. It was The Witches of Eastwick, and it made me think, hey, Jack Nicholson, he's pretty good. I like Jack Nicholson. And then I thought, who else is good? Stanley Kubrick, he's pretty good.
Let's see where this is going.
So next week we're doing The Shining.
Yay! I love that film.
Which is a film I've never seen and I've wanted to for a long time. And I mean, it comes up in so many sort of film-related videos that I watch on YouTube that I'm just so scared of spoilers for it.
Yeah.
That maybe it's already been spoiled for me and I don't know. Who knows? I will let you know next week.
Don't watch it alone. Just saying.
I'm going to watch it alone now, in the dark now.
With your iron. Don't burn your nipples.
I hope that's not a reference to it. Does anybody get the nipples burned off?
No. I was just thinking of you ironing in the dark. I was like,
okay. You know I'm not topless when I do this.
You are in my fancies.
Okay, well, join us next week where John will be doing this on his own.
That's the end of Beyond the Box Set. Cool.
Yeah.
So I very much look forward to watching The Shining. So yeah, we'll catch you next week. Thanks a lot. And thank you, Ady, for joining us this week.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
Is there anything you want to plug?
No.
No? Okay. Well, if you're looking for a window cleaner in the West Yorkshire area, Ady is available. Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah. There you go.
Every little helps. Yeah, but thank you for coming and thank you for choosing an excellent film. It's been great fun.
It's been fun. It's been nice.
And yeah, so we will join us next week for The Shining.
Yeah, see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, a little bit of bonus content. Ady, you forgot one of your ideas.
Yes, it was a remake. And it's very simple. It's Shaun the Sheep, but Shaun of the Dead Sheep.
Shaun the Sheep of the Dead?
Shaun the Sheep of the Dead.
Okay.
Any of those combinations that you'd like. But basically it's a remake with Shaun the Sheep characters.
Are the sheep dead or is Shaun dead?
Shaun the Sheep plays Shaun's character.
Oh, okay.
You know who Shaun the Sheep is, right?
Yeah.
So Shaun the Sheep is a sheep.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh, I see. So you mean, is he alive but other sheep are dead? Oh, okay. Now I understand. Okay.
So you take the characters out of Shaun the Sheep.
Okay.
And change them into the characters from Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
So it'd be like a kid's version of Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
No, is it still going to be, I believe it's called claymation?
Yeah.
So it's going to be in style of...
Yeah, so stop-start animation.
Yeah.
With Claire. Yeah.
With like guts and gore and...
The works, the gags, everything. The whole works. Everything. Ed as a character from Shaun the Sheep. Liz, all of them.
Who is Shaun's best? I've not watched much Shaun the Sheep because I'm 31.
If I'm honest, I've not got that far with it.
Yeah, I was like, who's his best mate? Is there like a best mate character?
He's got a group of friends from school, and you
Okay.
could easily morph them into the characters from Shaun of the Dead, I think.
Cool, I like it.
I just think it'd be quite funny.
Does anyone speak in Shaun of the
Oh
Sheep?
no, it'd be all done with bars and,
That'd be
and
hilarious.
characters.
I like that a
So
lot.
you'd have to get the gags based on the bars.
Yeah, so it's all like reaction shots and like...
Yeah.
I love it. That's really good, yeah.
Oh, I'd pay a lot more.
That is something I would legit want to watch. Yeah.
It'd be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Please, somebody make that.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please, yeah. I will pay lots of money to see that.
Instead of any more Wallace and Gromit, if someone could just make that.
Great.
Well, thank you, Ady. That was definitely...
Welcome.